Okay, hello, welcome everyone. I'm very excited today to start a new adventure with this creative moon circle. I will just introduce it a little bit before we go into a process. So stick with me, and in just a little moment, we will go into an actual creative moon process. Maybe for everyone who does not know me, my name is Antje Howard. I am an artist, a teacher, a guide. I like to call myself a guide. And I have been holding women's circles for quite a long time. Actually, first I started in person. I don't even know, like 7-8 years back or something like this. And in 2020, I think we started the experiment of online circles, which I did for a little bit. And now I would like to start a new circle where we connect with, dive into, tune into the cosmic energies, the energies of the moon especially, and of the zodiac that the moon moves through on her path. And as well, of course, through these energies, also we want to connect with ourselves, with these energies inside of us, bringing the larger cosmos into our everyday life in the end, and kind of observing these circles, these cycles inside us. I like to do that with art. The art process that I mostly work with is called Neurographica, and we will do a Neurographica process today. In this circle, I'm not going to teach Neurographica like I usually do. I'm not going to guide it quite like a normal drawing, but it will be a little bit different. So for everyone that's been with me, there's going to be a little bit experimentation, and in the future, I'm going to experiment a little bit more. I also guide meditations. I'm a meditation teacher. I'm a Qigong teacher. So all of these little other things will come into our circle. Usually also I have some little tools like my beloved drum that I don't have right now because I am visiting my parents. So today it was very interesting for me because I was reflecting on how I'm going to start this first circle raw like this without my tools. And in a way, it's actually the perfect circle to start like this. No, kind of naked almost, without the tools, just with the tools that we carry inside us. So it's a really strong portal that we are at right now. Thinking about the energies that are cosmically aligning right now. We have a new moon, which is an empty moon. Right now it's the dark moon. I don't know the exact time, but usually I organize my circles to where they're in a 3-day window, which is like an energetic window, where we can tune into these energies. So we're in the dark phase, which is a phase to, first of all, let go. It's like when you empty the glass, the end of the glass. And if you have some dirt in your glass, for example, you really want to clean that out before you put something new into it. So right now is the moment where we can really let go of everything that we don't want to bring into this next cycle. And then the cycle actually starts, the zodiac cycle even starts with the Aries new moon, which is today. And actually, we had another one like that 4 weeks ago. It's very interesting. It's the second one this year of Aries new moon. Luckily, I caught this one to actually start. And Aries is really, for me, it's a fire sign, which is like a very kind of sparkly energy. You know, and I also, like today, I really feel it. Like I'm very attuned to that, like intuitively, even though I don't know all the details that you can possibly know about zodiac signs and about astrology. So even if you're not super deep into astrology, you can still tune in intuitively. I am very much into trusting my intuition. It's a very important thing for me to also teach, you know, to also guide others into the space of really going deep into your own intuition and into what's happening for you right now, what's important for you right now. And Aries is really this like beginning energy. It's the first zodiac sign. It brings us into a space of initiation where we can really step forward. It's also a very masculine sign. It's like the warrior archetype that's connected to it. So we can tune into all these energies. For me personally, I don't usually dive too much into a theory like that, but I like to guide people into a more practical, into an observation and exploration of what this energy feels like for you right now. So we're going to do that in a little bit in a drawing. But then also, of course, the new moon is also a moment where we want to set a new intention. As I said, like Aries is new beginnings, the new moon is like just the time where we're about to start something new again, where the cycle of the monthly cycle of the moon, but also the year cycle of the zodiacs starts anew. And we actually have this connection between different moons of the year. And that's something that I would like to express or that I would like to explore and experiment with in this creative moon setting that I'm creating here, in the circle that I'm creating, to connect, for example, this new moon in Aries today with, in 6 months, we're going to have a full moon in Aries. So we're actually going to have from today until it's in September, I think I wrote it down, 29th of September, the energy is growing, is building. You know, we have this phase of where we can build something, and we can today set an intention, set a vision of what we want to grow in this next 6 months. And then, of course, in 6 months, we can reflect and see, okay, where did we get with that? You know, how far did we make it? And not so much in a way of judging if we made it or if we took the right steps, but just in a very, as an observer, you know, as someone who's interested in how the things align. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an experiment, as I said. And then, of course, we have from this full moon in Aries, the energies are going to come down again into, kind of releasing things again, no, taking the lessons from this cycle. So we have this in a year-long cycle, and then we have the monthly themes that are, of course, changing with the different signs. So this is kind of my background of how we're going to organize it. It's not super important that you're going to be there every single time, but of course, I appreciate everyone who's intentionally making space for that, which is why I am doing this. I want to intentionally make space for that, for tuning in and for really working with these energies. Today, or actually tomorrow, we have another super, super powerful portal energy that's coming in. That is the solar eclipse. And that is something that I have not worked with a lot. I have worked with the moon energies a lot, but with the solar eclipse, I haven't worked with a lot. And that's something that really can help us to find out how aligned we are with our inner self, with our higher self, with our purpose. So today we can look at where we are with that. And this solar eclipse really shined light on the dark parts. We can really look into the parts that are usually maybe obscured. So we can look at the shadow sides of things, for example. But overall, it's really about your personal plans, about being courageous and stepping into your independence. Those are like the themes that we're kind of working with today. Okay. So how are we doing that? This is what's going to happen next. Now, this was my introduction to what we're actually wanting to do here. And everyone who knows me and who has worked with me knows that I like to dive deep. I am a depth guide almost. And I like to work with guided meditations a lot. And as I said, today I don't have my instruments, I don't have my tools, but we're going to work with the tool that we always have, which is our heart. So I would like to invite you into tuning in with me. You can just sit comfortably, placing your feet onto the ground. This is not a meditation where you have to sit straight, but of course you should be upright. You can place your hand on your heart, and if it feels good, you can close your eyes for a moment and just take a few deep breaths. And just slowing down, feeling the rhythm of your breath. And tuning in to your heart. Feeling the rhythm of your heart, the beating. And allowing this rhythm to move throughout your body, feeling it all inside your body. Becoming aware of your entire body, of your feet on the ground, the places where your body meets the chair under you. Relaxing your shoulders, taking a deep breath. And you can even release a sigh, a sound, if that feels good. And feeling your head, your forehead, allowing your eyes to sink into your head, starting to look inside of you, turning your attention inward, into the dark. And staying connected with that heartbeat, with that rhythm. And now I invite you to imagine a circle around you. You can imagine it as a circle of a color, maybe a circle of light. Just drawing this circle around you as your safe space, your boundary. And then imagine connecting the circle to the ground under your feet, to the space above your head, enveloping you in a sphere, an egg of energy, of bright light. Your safe space. I'm really feeling the security, the safety, feeling held by the earth, and allowing yourself to connect upward to the moon, to the universe, to the depths, the empty space, the darkness. And then I invite you to join me on a journey inside. You can imagine this being in a beautiful place outside, really allowing whatever comes to your mind, wherever this place is. Maybe it's on a beach, maybe it's on a beautiful meadow with flowers, maybe it's in the mountains. Just allowing a feeling, an image to come up. And there you can again draw a circle on the ground underneath you, making sure that you're taking the safe space with you. And feeling your breath, feeling your heart as your anchor, the beating, the drum. And then allow yourself to walk towards your cave. And again, whatever images come up for you, whatever this cave might look like for you, making it into a comfortable space where you can discover your darkness but feel completely safe. And imagining standing at the entrance of your cave, placing a little offering in front of that entrance to honor this inner space. And the offering again, whatever comes to your mind. Maybe it's some flowers, your favorite sweet, whatever else comes to you. And then going down, allow yourself to enter this cave, feeling the walls of it, smelling the air, and going into the darkness, allowing this darkness to be there. And we're walking down into the cave together. And we're going to light a fire down in that cave. So you can imagine finding your space, finding your spot, the place for your ceremony, and lighting a fire, a little campfire, maybe it's a big fire. And again, giving an offering to that fire. Before we ask for anything, we always want to give. And then the first thing we want to give into this fire are the things that we want to let go of. Breathing deep into yourself and bringing up those things that you don't want to carry any further. And again, whatever it is that comes to your mind. Maybe material things, maybe emotions, maybe thoughts. And you can breathe it into the fire, allowing it to be burned. letting go of it, and looking into the flames. And just giving it a moment, bringing up a smile to your face, feeling the release, the relief, the beauty of letting go, what is no longer needed. And maybe releasing another sigh, going with the sound. And then I invite you to imagine a handful of seeds in your hands. And where I live in California, we have some seeds there. We have some trees that actually need to be burned before they can sprout. The redwoods, for example, the largest, most beautiful trees, they need to be burned before they can sprout. They need to be activated by the fire. And this is what we want to do with our seeds today. Looking at your hands, your handful of seeds, and just imagining what are those seeds, giving them names, if they have a name yet, or maybe they just have a feeling to it, an image, and then placing each of those seeds into the fire with a little prayer, asking the fire to shine its beautiful energy into the seeds, activating them, bringing forth the energy that's going to allow those seeds to sprout. And again, bringing a smile to your face, feeling this flickering, this beautiful energy of the fire as it activates, as it enlightens those seeds. And then I invite you to give thanks to the fire, allowing it to become smaller, to be just a little light. It's gonna light you the way back. But before you're gonna pick your seeds up out of the fire, feeling them now as they sparkle with that energy, activated, ready to sprout, full of life force, full of energy. And I invite you to place those seeds into your heart, feeling your heart receiving the seeds, the intentions, the prayers that you want to bring into your life, that you want to spark in your life. And feeling your heart again, feeling the beat, feeling the sparkling energy inside of you, feeling this flame inside you. And taking another deep breath. Really feeling the beauty of it and giving your gratitude to the fire. Before you slowly make your way out of the cave, back through the darkness and really carrying those seeds with you, feeling the lightness, the brightness inside yourself now, feeling how it's activated inside you. And then when you arrive at the entrance of the cave, again giving thanks. Maybe touching the ground. And then going back to your place in the nature, where you have your little circle on the ground. Moving backwards through time and space, feeling filled up. And there, allow yourself a few more deep breaths, integrating this activation. Coming back to your breath, to your heart, to your body, feeling your feet on the ground. You can very slowly start moving, maybe wiggle your toes, your legs, your upper body, just feeling yourself. And then I invite you to bring your hands together in front of your heart. Breathing one more deep breath. And then slowly rubbing your hands together, bringing warmth, blood flow, energy flow, light into your heart, into your hands. And when your hands are nice and warm, you can place them over your eyes for just a moment. Receiving this beautiful energy from your hands into your third eye, to your inner eye, allowing your inner vision to bring up all the visions that you need to see today, all the things that you need to learn, allowing them to come forth in this creative process. And then you can very lightly start blinking your eyes, coming back into the space where you are. You can rub your face very lightly, waking yourself back up and allowing your hands to move wherever they need to move on your body. Holding yourself. Oh. Okay. So as always, I will now change my camera and we will express, create, bring this story onto our paper. Okay, there we have a piece of paper. You can work with any type of pen. I often work with my black pens, but today, because it's this fire sign energy, I really wanted to work with a red pen, so I'm going to work with red. But you can, as I said, work with any pen. You can also work with pencil right away. If you work with a pencil, I recommend a stronger color because we will layer, and then it's good to still see your first image. Okay. So the first thing that I want to start with in this drawing is really you. we will draw our first circle. That's going to be you. And I would like to invite you to draw it relatively central. You can, of course, feel into the space and see where the circle wants to be, how big it wants to be, or how small it wants to be, and then just very intuitively, without really thinking about it, placing a circle. And you can just go around and around a few times. The circle doesn't have to be perfect. And just feeling into it, imagining again the safe space, your circle around you. And then I would like to bring the release that we just did in the meditation into this drawing as well. And I like to draw down to release. I'm still going to draw with my red pen. I'm just going to draw neurographic lines. Everyone who's been working with me knows what you're supposed to do, drawing lines down. Everyone has never heard of neurographic lines. You can just imagine them as natural, unpredictable lines. They don't have a pattern. They just move with your hand. And with every line downwards, I would like to ask you to really feel into this energy of release. Whatever needs to be released. We're first going to draw a little bit down. The lines can be small, can be fast, can be slow, and they all go all the way to the edge of the paper. Can all go all the way down, releasing. You can also invite your breath into this process, exhaling with the release and really letting go with your entire body. And then when you have quite a few lines, I would like to invite you to first go into a little bit of rounding. I'm going to very briefly explain what rounding is to anyone who has not experienced Neurographica before. All the other people, of course, they know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to draw a few lines here to show you what I'm talking about. So these are my lines of release, and now I have here, wherever two lines meet, a meeting point, like a cross, some kind of version of a cross. And what we mean by rounding is that all these four corners, we round them out, we transfer them, transform them into a node. So I'm going to do this everywhere where there are lines meeting. If you're completely new to this, don't worry if it's not perfect. I like to follow my lines a little bit into the corner so that they become smooth. And so I'm going to do that all throughout my lines. So everything that I've drawn downward here now, I will first of all spend a little bit of time with it, integrating, connecting with this energy of releasing. And throughout the process of rounding, I also invite you to really use your breath. If you feel there's anything that might still be stuck, breathing out long and slow and intense and really allowing this energy of release. This is all about letting go what we don't want to bring into this next cycle. And you can, of course, also think about it, allow your mind to reflect on this idea of release as well, and allowing your emotions to be there however you feel. Just observing, being with whatever shows up without any judgment. And as I said, if there's anything that feels a little bit stuck, maybe allowing your breath to help you, really using the tools that you naturally have, that you always have with you. Your breath is really something that you can take with you wherever you go, as a tool, as a guide. I really like to voice as well. That's also a great way to release. Oh, just giving this a few moments. As I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is more about the inner process than about the actual image that we're creating. The image here is really a way to connect to ourselves, to the inner process. And we just slowly move through these lines. I really like to touch all the lines. And then whenever you feel that there's something very specific, maybe something that you would like to name that is being released here, then I invite you to find a circle in this web. And you can really just look at the picture and ask yourself, where is the circle? And then draw a circle into these lines. I'm going to look where my circle is. I see one here already. It's already there. You just have to follow it. It's something that's very close to me that needs to be released. When I ask myself what it is, I can also feel it already, feel the energy. I invite you also to take little notes inside your picture. So I'm going to write here into my picture, just so that after, when I look at it, I will maybe remember. And I'm going to release a few things. So you can draw as many circles as you feel, big or small. And whenever you really feel like you know what this stands for, I invite you to write a word in it, write its name. Naming the things can be very helpful. Some might be bigger, some might be smaller. Here, I really just trust my hand and go with wherever it wants to go. And then I invite you to integrate the circle into your web of lines. Again, with the rounding, wherever the circle meets a line, I go around the circle and I make sure that the circle is connected and that I feel that it's all one web. And if I don't know what the circle means, then this can be a good moment to reflect on that, to feel into that. Sometimes the things are not so specific. They don't have a name, but maybe they have a feeling. And then you can work with that. And for me, most of the time, whenever I go around a circle, at some point, I know what the circle is. And don't worry if it's not like that. You will learn that throughout time. Mm. Mm. And giving this another few minutes. Just this energy of release. I'm gonna have a few more little circles. Not every circle needs to be named. I usually name the big circles or the ones that really stick out to me. And now you can again imagine the fire burning them. And this is why I wanted to really choose a red pen too, because it kind of brings this fiery energy with it. And I just imagine that those really burn away. I give them up to the fire. Okay. And now that we have again released, I would like to invite you to bring the seeds that you now carry in your heart onto our picture as well, into your circle. So the first circle that we drew, we're bringing those little seeds into here in the form of circles again. The first, we draw circles. I can also have different sizes, some a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller. Feeling the fullness, the buzzing energy of new beginning. Feeling this excitement and the beauty of planting seeds, planting these seeds in your heart and bringing that into our picture. Got a few little ones here too. And then again, of course, you can ask yourself what they might stand for. And I would now name the bigger ones. You can also kind of color the spaces in between to make them stand out more, so that it's like rounded. I'm just going to really color in the spaces in between. They don't have a lot of space left there anyways. Making them stand out. And while I do that, of course, I can reflect on that and feel the energy of that. And also feel which ones are the ones that really call my name. Which ones are the ones that I'm really ready to plant now. And one of these seeds for sure is this circle, our circle for me. And I can, again, as I said, I can name them. I'm going to just name them with letters because they're a little bit small. And the small ones I just leave. I know that we often plant more seeds than we need. And I would like to invite you to really tune into the fire energy. Fire has this very flickering energy, kind of fast, really feeling into it. And now I invite you to bring this into your lines. So I'm going to draw lines from inside my circle in all directions, except for downward direction we kind of did already, but really bringing a little bit more fire energy out. And you can imagine how these seeds that you set inside you, they shine out. This energy really comes out into the world as light. It can come out only into your life, or maybe touching even the lives of others. Really bringing it out. And also, again, all the lines go to the edge of our drawing, of our paper. You want to fill the entire space, allowing yourself to take that space. I'm going to leave a little bit spaced to my release. I'm feeling this energy now. Feeling this fire energy really kind of flickering out. Imagining, this ball of light shining brightly. And now we can actually bring the circles in right away and round again. So we do the same thing like before, wherever the lines meet. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly in every single spot. It doesn't have to be perfect. But we want to connect to everything. And I'm going to bring in some circles right away. And then around everything close to the circles and around the circles and connecting it all right away. And these circles, they now stand, of course, for how the seeds that we created shine out into the world. It doesn't necessarily have to be the exact fruit that we expect. Most sometimes, always, often in life, things might look different than we intended. Just taking that into account, we can ask ourselves, what would be steps on my way? If I set those seeds, what can it look like? How do I even know that this seed sprouted? What is the little plant looking like that I need to nurture maybe? Because a seed, of course, does not immediately become a fruit. There's a process involved, a process of growth. And this is exactly the process that we will look at over the coming weeks and months, slowly observing, coming back to all these intentions and finding where we are on the way, how far we've come, what might need to be changed. All of this is going to come in the next few months on this journey. But now really it's all about just bringing it into our consciousness. And we connect with it in the form of this drawing. And also, of course, we make the connections in our brain. This is what the drawing can help us with, to imagine things that we might not have imagined before. And I'm just going along in this one circle here, finding a lot of different things here, a lot of different shapes. Just allowing yourself to be impressed, to allow this picture to bring an impression for you, inform you in some way in the form of shapes right now. Connecting to your breath again. And you can, of course, ask yourself what the circles stand for. You don't have to name them, but you can if something comes to you. And if nothing comes to you, that's absolutely fine too, because we will actually look back at this exact drawing in 6 months. When the full moon in Aries comes, I want to continue this drawing. So maybe then these circles might have a different meaning. Maybe a meaning will come. Oh, here we can really just allow time. One of the things that I find very beautiful about working with these cosmic energies is that it gives me time as well. Time is in my hands. I can connect to the timing of the universe somehow, of the cosmos, of the earth, well, the planet that we live on, how it turns around, how the moon moves around the sun, all of this. And I'm just going to give you another maybe 5 to 10 minutes of quiet time to enjoy this process, finding circles, creating and connecting, and allowing those seeds inside you to be activated, and coming back to them again and again. Always come back to the circle in the center, making sure that all the lines, all my flames are connected to this circle. Feeling back into it. I want to remind everyone to breathe. Stay connected with yourself. Of course, you can take as much time for this process as you need, as you would like to take. I'm going to maybe go towards a little bit of color, as it's also very beautiful to bring some color into the drawing, but you can come back to it, maybe even at a later point. I do that sometimes. I look at my picture tomorrow and I might see another circle somewhere. So you're always allowed to change your picture. I just want to give that permission to everyone. Just so you know, this process can take longer, especially if you're a beginner. It might be a longer process. Just allowing it, being with whatever comes up for you. And if there's inner judgment or something like that coming up, being with that too. Just watching it. Maybe you can find a way to release some of it. Again, you have that tool, your breath, and that tool, the line, the drawing, all of that can help you. Really just using the tools that you have. And as I said, nothing has to be perfect here. It's really not about what the picture looks like, but much more about your journey of drawing, your journey of creating. Now with color, I like to be very, very intuitive with color. So I don't really plan my coloring. Of course, this picture might call for some certain colors. Now you might want to use fire colors, orange, red, yellow, but you are absolutely free and welcome to use any colors that you feel drawn to. And I really invite you to feel into it. Ask yourself, what color does this picture need? You can start coloring at any part of the picture, even though I think I will again start with the bottom part where we've released. Also bringing color in there first. It's kind of this coming back again and again and again to this inner process. And I, for example, feel drawn to blue. So I just pick this blue, don't question it. Then I ask myself which part of this is blue now, and I just start coloring. In Neurographica, we move over the lines. So usually we do not color just one little segment of the drawing, but we color larger areas. So I invite you to just feel into it. Where does the color want to go? And allow the color to move. I really like this imagery of the color moving through the drawing. And it can really go anywhere. It can go to any part of the drawing. And at first I just do like a thin layer of color moving. And then with the color again, I create connections between, in this case, the lower part of my drawing and the upper part of my drawing. And I can tune into this connection, can tune into how is this circle up here connected to my circle in the bottom, connected to my seed. I know what I release, and I know what seed I have here. I can ask myself, how can I interpret that? With one of the things that comes with the drawing is that we can create meaning. And we actually really create it. But we also ask our subconscious. And in this case here, really, I allow my subconscious to guide me. I just look at the drawing and see the color flowing all the way through. And then I can ask myself, how are these things connected? And just use one color as much as I feel like. You can work with as many colors as you want. You can also layer the colors. And again, I start somewhere, and now I actually automatically kind of started in the middle. And now I feel into the next one. Where does it want to go? And we don't have to color everything. It's actually good to leave some white space. I just want to mention that first. And this is not like coloring book. And this is really just using the color as an informant, as another way to look at my subconscious. And I do that without really thinking. I just move my hands and allow the color to go wherever it needs to go. And here as well, I can of course use my breath. Maybe again, there's still something that's kind of there. Maybe I feel an energy building up inside me, and I can always use my breath to help me release. Every now and then, I just take a short moment and look at my drawing, and then I pick the next color. I really love this process, and we're just gonna be with it for, let's say, maybe 10 minutes.
Just creating different connections. And I'm going to again give everyone a little bit space to explore for yourself. Oh, staying connected to your body, to your breathing, to your heart. This way of coloring is really to learn to trust your feeling. It's a very good practice to learn to trust your intuition, these hunches that you have, just going with it. It's kind of like where you can really experiment with it, where you can just go with this intuition that you have and look at it afterwards and see how it turns out. See if you like it. Really just trusting your aesthetic, your very own feeling of beauty, your very own kind of very, very own beauty. Of course, we're doing that a little bit quick here as well, but you can take your time. This is also something that you can get back to later. So if you feel that you don't get to where you feel happy with your drawing, where you think it's beautiful, you are absolutely invited to go back to it at another point. And as I said, you can always add more circles as well. I just saw another circle here, so I'm going to draw it. So that's absolutely fine. The processes can overlap. And this is really all about learning to listen to this inner voice that says there has to be a circle here. I see a circle here, so I just take a little break from the coloring and draw my circle. Or even another line. You could also draw another line. You could round more. You can always come back to any part of this process. It doesn't have to be linear. It can be just as we are in the moment. Drawing back, coloring a little bit. And just listening to the thoughts that come up, to the ideas that may appear in your mind, paying attention to anything that happens inside of you, or maybe even any body reactions. Maybe you're feeling your heart, or maybe your belly. And just listening, learning to listen. This is really something that we can do with these processes, coming closer to us, feeling deeper, and allowing the little voices within to come forward. And I will probably go back to coloring at the end, or maybe tomorrow even, and we'll see. I always like to color a little bit more than I can do in the workshops. But there is some interesting things happening here, some connections. As I said in the beginning, color can always show us connections between elements. So I can see that some of the things I released, this release is now connected to things that I want to bring into my life, to certain seeds, which of course I can reflect on then and ask myself how they are connected, what that might mean for me, and see if anything comes up. If any inner wisdom comes up, that might help me. Okay, now my picture is relatively colorful, so I will continue. Now, I would like to invite a path of power, I'm going to call it. And this path of power goes from the release through the seeds to the world, to these things that I created. So I'm going to start anywhere on the bottom here, and I want to draw a line. I'm going to probably draw a few lines that go from somewhere down here into my middle circle and then in any direction. So I just go with where my attention flows. Oh, this is really another exercise in just letting go of thinking and judging and planning, for example. I just find the power path, find the energy in my drawing, and I just walk and drive my path. And I follow this path. I'm going to follow it several times. These are what we call in Neurographica the field lines. So for anyone who is not new to this anymore, you know what I'm talking about. You can just feel the energy flowing through your picture. These lines can be a little bit thicker, they can take a little bit more space, and you can really feel into the flow of them, the movement of them, how they meander through the drawing. Then I'm going to go and just follow them. I'm actually following them backwards, also fine. And just making sure that they are really well connected to the rest of my drawing. I, of course, followed pathways that were already there. Sometimes there's also new pathways that are created. And then I'm just giving them more space. And do that very intentional, following this line, following this path of power, bringing this power into my drawing and into my seeds. I can also look at the different steps and see, okay, here it's connected to the seed. And there it's flowing down all the way to again release. And I make sure I round everything. And I feel the energy. And to me right now, this feels really, really good. And I feel this kind of tingling inside my body. Feel this fire energy. And I could see, okay, I probably want another one that also goes somewhere. And I kind of choose the pathways that where I can already see that there's a lot of energy there. It's mostly where there's already kind of strong lines. And then just absolutely follow my feeling here, my intuition, moving this path through the drawing, connecting to this power flowing through my drawing, and really setting the intention of giving my energy to this, giving my energy to these seeds, making sure to nurture them. I can, of course, as I float by, maybe I'm already aware what I'm touching here, what are the circles. If not on the way, and I follow this pathway slower and make sure it's connected, I can also reflect a little bit already on how it is connected, which parts of my drawing receive the most power. And this might give me some ideas of where I might want to focus. Now, in the next months, for example, since we're working with the moon cycle, we can think in moons, or maybe even just in the next 2 weeks until we work with the upcoming full moon. can just ask myself what needs to be focused on, what needs to be looked on, what is my next step as I follow this energy path, this power path through my drawing, and bring the energy really to all the spaces. And of course, everything is connected in this drawing, so the energy is automatically going to flow everywhere. But there are maybe a few parts that are especially nurtured, or that want to be especially nurtured. And for me, I can really see the little stories that are connected to these circles that I path on my way. It's like a story created in my mind now. And I think I'm going to be good with those two. And for today, I will actually finish here. Everyone who's worked with Neurographica before, you know that you can also create an extra emphasis, but I already emphasized my circle of me in the process. It's anyways the strongest element in my drawing because it has all these little circles in it. It's filled with red. It has a lot of power there, and for me the power kind of sits here now. So I'm just emphasizing that a tiny little bit and just feeling back into it, feeling this energy inside me really, and connecting inside and giving it a little bit more color. But you can, of course, also work with other parts. And then one thing that I wanted to mention that I totally forgot is that anyone who's been working with Neurographica before, all my advanced students, you can, of course, also use other shapes in these second or third circles that we drew. So everything that goes outwards from the inside here, these circles, if you wish to, you can also add other shapes. So if someone sees a triangle, wants a triangle in there, that is an option. And I'm just going to, for fun, make a little triangle here somewhere because I feel that maybe that would be a good idea for me. And the triangle is a figure that I really recommend only advanced students to work with because it has a lot of energy, different energy than circle. And so it's good to first learn about it before you actually use it in your drawings. I just wanted to mention this for my students, that of course you can work with everything that you learned. So I'm going to add one more little figure here just for fun. And as I said, for me, this drawing is in a way finished, but I can also still continue. So you can think of it like that. Look at your process. And I like to just finish whenever I feel finished. That's, again, where I really trust my intuition. Sometimes I need breaks as well. Maybe I'm going to sit down and draw more tomorrow. See different things tomorrow. Maybe I'm going to know what this triangle stands for, where it's going, where it wants to go. Maybe there's going to be some information coming up for this. But yeah, for now, this process is where we're going to end with the art process.
And I want to say a few, very few things about the upcoming processes in the future. Just as a general thing, everything that I share here is, of course, an offer, and you are always free to add things, to go a different way, to follow your intuition, your creative expression. That's really, really important for me. I want to invite everyone to our next circle, which will be in 2 weeks, the full moon. I'm going to set the date. As I said, it's going to be in the 3-day window, 1 day before moon, 1 day after. I'm not 100% sure yet because first I need to travel home. And then I'm going to come up with a date, or probably I'm going to come up with a date in the next few days. This circle again will be offered by donation because I kind of felt that I want to offer these beginning processes so that everybody also can see how I work with the different energies. Now we looked at the new moon, which is something where I feel it's really about going inside. It's a very inward oriented process for me. And next time we're going to work with a full moon, which is completely different energy, where we're like maybe going out a little bit more. So we'll see how that's going to go. And hopefully I'm going to be home and have my little tools, which will be fun too. And then usually I really like to connect with everyone in a personal way. So what I do is now, for everyone that's here live, I'm going to turn off this recording and we can share and talk and see how the process was for everyone, if there's anything that you wish to share. So this is something that I find very nurturing. This is one of the reasons why I do these circles, because I feel that for me it's very healing to be in an actual circle. These parts I won't record though, so just for everyone that watches the recordings, just for you to know there is more to a live circle. But because it's very personal, or I want it to be very personal, this is only between us that we are here today. And with that, I'm going to say thank you to everyone who's watching this recording as well. I really appreciate your time. I hope that this process opened a door for you, ignited some energy for you. I hope that you found some seeds that you want to work with for the coming weeks and months. As I said, like, this is just a beginning. No, now our seeds are ripe, are activated to be planted throughout the next processes. So this is what we're going to work on now, over, let's see how many months. And yeah, I have a Facebook group. I'm just going to say that last thing, that I invite everyone to, where we can share, where I would love to invite you to share your drawings. And I'm going to post that with and under and around the video, so you can find it or write to me. Okay, so thank you very much. Many, many blessings to everyone out there, and goodbye.